Hey, I'm Mickey Schlick with BOLDBooking, and people have been asking for a video on this, so here it is. This is how I would start GHL if I was starting from scratch, and this is how I do it for my clients. The one caveat here is that if it is a local business client, a lot of times I'll go out and do this in person. That also allows me a chance to bring a camera and some lighting. I can get some photos of their business, get off to a really good start. If it's somebody more within my niche, which my niche is tattooing, then they usually have a lot of pictures. And in a lot of cases, I'm trying to figure out how to guest spot with them or go work with them eventually as a tattoo artist. And at that point, I'll be able to come take pictures of the establishment and everything else. That'll come up later. But in the meantime, here's what I do. So here's how it goes. Let's try this guy. So the first thing you're going to do is come over to GPTs, hit explore GPTs. Over here in the public GPTs, just search for BOLDBooking and they should come up. So this is a tattoo one, hook generator is a tattoo one. Some of these say tattoos and they're not really just for tattooers, but we have the brand clarity coach, the brand voice, the client journey discovery tool. We have visual helper. So this one will kind of come in the middle. We have dream client discovery and we have the wiki helper, and I do them in this order. I start with the brand clarity coach, then I go to the brand voice, then I start with the brand clarity coach, then I go to the dream client, then we figure out the brand voice. From there, we get into this visual style helper, and this is just going to recommend things like font pairings and color palettes. You want to have a lot of options. And then we're going to get into the wiki, and what that's going to do, well, we'll go to it in a minute. So the first place I start is right here at brand clarity coach. And I use this right now. I'm still doing this as a guided conversation. So I'm having the conversation with them. I've tried to apply it a couple times and to a do-it-yourself type of situation. And all of those clients try to get through the conversation really fast. And that doesn't leave us enough documents to do what we want going forward, right? So the deal here is we want to create the least amount of work possible. And we're going to do that by doing an extra 2 hours of work, right? And that 2 hours of work is just talking to the client. And then at the end of each one of these discussions, you're going to end up with a document. All those documents you're going to save over here in Google Drive, home, type, folders, client brands. Once we have all those pages set up, we're going to come back to ChatGPT. We're going to create a new GPT, and let's go to one that I already have, and we are going to use a prompt, something like this. And that prompt is going to say, transform boring corporate text into knowledge packed content that feels like getting advice, blah, blah, blah. You can have ChatGPT make these instructions for you. Tell it what you want it to do and go from there. And then take all that knowledge we made and upload it down here so that it has all that information that we just extracted from the client and puts it in here, okay? Then at that point, you're also going to tell ChatGPT, hey, this is my business, this is my brand guide, right? Maybe not in this discussion, but maybe a different one, and say, give me the perfect schema for my site. Now, different pages might need different things. The whole site is probably going to need a business schema. In my case, we have a lot of body art ones and that kind of stuff. The artist pages are going to need a person schema. The blog articles are going to need an article schema. So at this point, we take all the person's information, we put it into ChatGPT, and then we never really have to ask them a question again about their business. We can set up their whole website, and we already have something that's going to answer everything for us. But first, there's more. We're going to take that schema, right? So let's go to new chat. My website is albertadogs.com. We are a dog food store and dog shelter. What is the perfect schema for me? Boom. So then this is going to tell you what the schema is, right? And so you want to tell it all about your business here, so that it can give you the schema that you need, right? If it to say certain things, you're going to want that in the schema, and you want that information consistent across all networks, across all pages, across everywhere, right? And the consistency is really the key here, because your phone number could be wrong, but if it's wrong consistently and your website still gets served, you're going to be all right. I wouldn't recommend that, but just for example, right? This tried to pull that site, and that site is not a real thing. So it's going to give me this schema here. Boom, boom, boom. And this has like type, ID, name, URL, logo, publisher, potential action. What's your phone number? What's your email, your price range, everything, right? It's asking everything. And this is a code that goes on your page. that the spiders will crawl, or the crawlers or whatever will crawl and index the site based on largely what's on this page, right? And making sure that what's on this in this code matches what's going onto your home pages and everything else. So this we're going to hold on to for a second because we want it. But what we want to do is we want to I need a list of all of these values. Now we're going to take this list of values, right? Business name, legal brand name, all this stuff. We want to know what all this stuff is. We create a checklist or however you like to deal with it. Pop over to GHL, or in my case, BOLDBooking. I'm going to go ahead and log back in. So here's where it starts to get a little bit technical. We're going to pop over to the settings tab and go to our custom values and see if I have this in a folder already. Yeah, our schemas, artist and studio info. So I've put all of these in a folder named schema. They all have a custom value and it matches what is over here. Then we're going to put all of this in here. Actually, what you might want to do if you want to get really clever with it is you take a picture of the custom values that you have, and then you'll bring that over here, add it as a photo and say, remove these values that I already have from this list. That way you're not double booking anything, right? You want AI to do as much of this work as possible because you can do it in 2 minutes instead of 50. So then once we have all the duplicates taken out, then we're going to come back over here again. We're going to take this whole list. We're going to open a new chat. We're going to go to agent mode, right? Which I don't know how great you feel about agent mode, but you use agent mode to log in. You're going to tell it that you're going to log in and you're going to get it over to the right page. And it's going to put all these schema values in here for you. There's not going to be any misspellings. There's not going to be any typos. And it's going to put all of these in here. So I have 60 in this account that are just this schema. I know that in my shop, it got up to 140. But what we do is then we take this list, right, that's already filled out, boom, and put it on this side of the screen. Where are we at? And over here, we go back to our bot that just knows everything about us. And we start saying, I'm filling out my schema. Help me out where you can. And we start highlighting and pasting these videos. So aftercare, I'm going to copy this and we're just going to paste. Boom. Now, in this case, Lowbrow Know-How is not an aftercare, is not a tattoo site, but we can either make this page because that would be really easy. Or in any event, we can just highlight the value it gives us here and put it over in our values over here. So now whatever you put in these values, oh wait, I skipped a step, right? So cool. What we're going to do first is we're going to go back to the chat that we had that was this whole schema, right? And we're going to change this so we can see it all. And we're going to take a screenshot. Actually, yeah, I don't think I can highlight just this row. Yeah. You know what? Let's just highlight the whole thing and see what happens. So we're going to highlight all this. We're going to copy it. And I'm going to say, these are my current custom values. Please fill in the schema with the key term and then paste and let it go. And that's going to kick us back the schema already filled out with these keys. That way, when we use ChatGPT to fill these out, they're going to automatically go into the schema. The most important part is making the client fill these out with their custom bot first. That way they know where all these values are. Otherwise, they're never going to come back and find them. But if you have them do 50 to 100 on day one, they're probably going to remember this shit. Now, what we'll say is these IDs are coming back as keys for custom values. So now what we've done is we've shown up with the client. We've taken pictures in some cases. We've had a whole interview where we learned all about their business. We've turned that into a chat bot that can answer all of our questions about their business. We have that same knowledge base with it. We can make the same chatbot for them. This is more than enough to set up the voice AI, the conversation AI. You can get a website started for them pretty easily once you figured out the colors and fonts. It's handled the schema. So later on, when you get to custom values and you have to come up with their schema, that's already set up in the custom values. As long as they stick to using the custom values for those terms and phrases, whatever, everything will be good for the life of their install. So I hope this helps somebody, and good luck. If you need any help, or if you are looking to hire, you want somebody to do this for your business, I'll split it with the 80-20, maybe 70-30, depending on the volume. So let's have a conversation. See you soon.